Hollow Knight Silksong has finally released, and in the early parts at least, it's everything we could have hoped and dreamed for. But it's no easy adventure, and if you're like me, coming off of your Hollow Knight preparation run, there's a lot of things you might miss. New mechanics, new skills, and even new menus that either the game doesn't explain or that you didn't read because you're really interested in getting back to the bench before you die. So whether you're a seasoned Hollow Knight veteran or a newbie who never played the first game, here are 5 new mechanics you need to know about before you play Hollow Knight Silksong. My favorite mechanical addition to Hollow Knight Silksong are quests, aka promises. Quests aren't like they are in other games. They don't give you map markers or dotted lines to follow, they simply ask you to collect a certain amount of a thing and bring it back to an NPC in either a town or a cave. These quests are super important, and they can reward you with a number of game-changing abilities, from a charm that gives you silk when you take damage to a cape alteration that gives you the ability to float. There's a menu in your tab that contains all of the promises you've made and tracks how many of each thing you've gotten. Like, I've gotten 4 of the 5 fleas here, which are like this game's caterpillars. Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong are games about backtracking and using new abilities in areas that you've already been to, and these collectible quests give more rewards for the fun of re-exploration. You most likely won't overlook promises, but you may underestimate their importance, so if you're struggling with an area, getting the item from one of these might be a huge help. Next, something that I totally did not understand for the first couple hours of Silksong was the Crest System. The Crest System is a tab in your menus, and it contains multiple different crests which hold your tools with a slot for red tools, blue tools, and yellow tools. At first they look just like different ways of holding said tools, but each crest has a massive effect on gameplay. They change almost everything in Hornet's moveset, from the way her upward attack hits to the speed of her standard attack, the way she does her downward attack, the time it takes to bind, and the way she executes a dash attack. Obviously, this also affects traversal, as in certain areas you'll need to bounce off of objects to platform up. You can also equip different tools to different quests to make it kind of like a loadout change when you switch crests. Also, you can upgrade them with a memory locket, which opens up additional tool slots on your crest. All in all, a first run may see you overlooking this system, but trust me, it might be the single most important thing to know when switching over to Silksong. Okay, now for something way less gameplay altering, but maybe just as important: rosary strings and necklaces. The main form of currency in this game are rosaries, which are these little beads. And just like in Hollow Knight, when you die, they get dropped, and if you die again without recovering them, they're gone forever. There is one way to negate this in Silksong, however, and that's by buying a rosary string or a rosary necklace. These can be bought from a ton of different shopkeepers, and they contain 60 rosary beads for the string and 120 for the necklace. While they do cost more rosaries than they give, it can work as a form of protection to ensure that you don't lose a massive amount of money when you're struggling in certain areas. I was really struggling in Hunter's March, so I took my money and I put it into those necklaces so that I didn't have to worry about losing massive amounts of beads. Okay, next let's talk about throwables. This is the red tool in your toolbar. There are a bunch of different types of throwables that I've already seen, but the big thing to know here is that they're actually pretty good. They do a hefty amount of damage, and nearly every enemy in the environment drops ammo for them, so you don't have to worry about missing a bunch of throws because you'll be restocked in no time. I kind of just overlooked them because they weren't in Hollow Knight and they didn't feel particularly important, but if you try a few out, they're definitely worth using, especially if you consistently have 400 of them sitting in your inventory. The final thing I want to talk about is healing. Healing in Hollow Knight was notoriously difficult, as you had to take a momentary pause in the middle of a fight and find a place you didn't think you were going to get hit, and then hope and pray that you didn't get hit. In Silksong, at least for me, healing feels quite a bit easier, and there are even tools in the blue category to help with this, like the one that offers a shield similar to the one offered in Hollow Knight. But the 2 key differences to notice here are that the Silk Horn it uses can heal up to 3 health bars, and you can heal in the air. These are game changers. First, this massive amount of healing allows you to play more aggressively, because if you can fill up your silk, it doesn't matter if you take a few hits. But also, being able to heal in the air means that if your enemy is doing an attack that blocks the ground area, you can simply hover while you heal. Regardless, it all works in tandem with the faster gameplay pace that Silksong is going for. I hope these tips were able to help you on your journey through Farloon. It's truly a beautiful world to go and experience, and Team Cherry seems to have created an absolute masterpiece yet again, so thanks for watching, and good luck out there.